Hi, I'm Miss Lynne from Puppetopia, and today we're going to do a craft making puppets out of recycled materials. We're going to make one puppet with decoration on the outside, like this dog, and one with decorations on the inside, like this bird. To start, you need to collect a bottle or a can or a jug of some type. For our puppet on the outside, I'm going to use a dishwashing detergent bottle. And for our puppet on the inside, I'm going to use a clear soda bottle. We're going to start with the decorations on the outside first. When you collect the bottles, it's preferable to hold on to the caps because that's where you're going to apply the nose. Very often when you look at your bottles, or your jugs or your cans or whatever you'd like to use, you're going to see some sort of animal in it. I decided what I would like to do with this one is some sort of a zebra. So we're going to decorate from the front back, and that means that we're going to start with the nose. Now this one doesn't really need a whole lot done to it. I am simply going to give him a nose with our marker. If you are writing on plastic, you do not want to use washable markers. They will come off all over your children's hands. Using permanent ones may sound a little bit more messy at the beginning, but once they dry, they shouldn't be coming off of that. So I am going to simply give him a nose with black permanent ink like that. Now I'm going to add the eyes. And I'm making the eyes out of fun foam. I'm decorating the outside of him with fun foam. If you don't have fun foam, it's available at most craft stores. I know that it's also at Walmart. It's about $6 for a package of 25 or 50 there. It's something that you can use sparingly. You don't have to worry about it. But get the stuff that has the stick already on the back that you can peel and stick it. And the reason for that is plastic doesn't hold glue real well. If you use glue stick, it's not going to stay stuck. If you want to use white glue, you're going to have to get some sandpaper or a sanding block and rough up the outside before you put it on. The other thing that does work is double stick tape, but that's even more expensive. So my suggestion is to get yourself a pack of fun foam. You won't use all of it for this. You'll just use a little. And then you want to cut out an eye. You don't have to be perfect when you're cutting things out. I cut most of these out freehand, and cutting out a circle is just going in a curve. Like I said, it doesn't need to be perfect to look good. Make sure they're both about the same size. My second one is a little bigger, so I'm going to trim it down a bit. And make sure that you do all the decorations that you want on the foam before you apply it to your jug, because it's a little hard once you've stuck it on there to draw on the curves and sometimes the bumps on the jug. So draw first here. Okay, I have two eyes. I am going to make pupils. If you want to make them a little more cartoony, put the pupil right smack in the middle. But if you want to make it look a little more realistic, put it on the edge like this. Make sure again that they're about the same, unless you want him to look a little cross-eyed or cockeyed. And then stick your eyes to your jug. And it's always best to be looking at it from the front. I did not let my permanent ink dry, so I have just a tiny bit on there. Permanent ink does clean up with alcohol, so that's one thing you can do. So we have a nose and we have eyes. And I've decided I would like to turn this guy into a zebra. One of the things you should also decide is the orientation. Most animals, especially as a puppet, are best if you hold on to them from the bottom. Some you might want to do from the top if you're doing a whale or a fish or something like that. But when we use them in the puppet shows, we hold on to them from the bottom. So this would be the bottom of my animal. Now I decided that he is going to be a zebra. And when you cut out the fun foam for that, don't take the sticky off first. Like I said, I just cut most of this stuff freehand, so I want to make some stripes for him. And I'm just going to cut them out. I've got a bunch that I cut out before I started this to use. And then we're going to start again, sticking from here back. Now, if you've cut out a bunch of spots or something like that, and you have some large ones and some small ones, start with the large ones. If you put two small ones close together, you don't have room to put that large one to start. So put your large ones on first and then put your small ones in between. But I am simply going to start from the front here with my stripes. And I'm going to stick it on here to cover things up a bit. And then I want a blue stripe. I'm not doing animals in the wild colors. I am doing a definite fantasy animal here. And you can figure out what he is when I get closer to finishing. And if they overlap a little, that's okay. I try not to do that because it makes it bulky. But fun foam sticks real well to itself too. A small one here. Okay, one side, let's go ahead and do the other. One other thing that you can do, if you'd like, I didn't here, but you can cover up or peel off the label. Peeling off is sometimes hard, especially on these plastic jugs, but covering it up, you can paint over it or use markers or crayons to cover the label up before you start putting your fun foam on. And I'm doing a little bit of overlapping on this side. I think I want to put him over here. Find a smaller one for my back here. And I'm going to put a nice stripe down the middle of his back. Yes, he's a zebra. And he needs a couple of ears, so let's use some of the blue to make him ears. And I'm going to show you a trick on putting these on. So I have a couple of ears for my zebra here. And I don't want to take all of the backing off. I just want to take a little bit. So I peel back where I want to stick it. And I cut off just a tiny bit or a small bit of the paper. And then fold the paper back on itself. And we're going to stick his ears on. And I'll do the same thing with the other ear. And I could add a tongue like this. If I want to make them even. There's his ears. And we are going to make a tail. By cutting in and feathering it a bit. And again here, I am just going to peel a bit off, cut it, put the backing back on, and stick the tail on the back. So we have here our zebra. Now to make a puppet using things that go inside the bottle, first you have to collect everything that you need. I'm using some pom-poms. I'm going to use some paper clips. I cut a few pieces of foil. I cut some pieces from a magazine. I found a magazine page that had pictures on both sides and cut it out and then cut it into little squares of paper. So I can tuck these in here. Now the one thing that you want to remember about this is not to overstuff things. Put just a few items in. If there's not enough, you can add more. I cut a few pieces of foil to make it sparkle and shine. I like using foil in crafts rather than glitter. It's a lot neater, and it still gives you the sparkle. A couple more of these, a few more paper clips. You don't want to stuff it so full that it doesn't, that nothing inside moves. You want it to rattle. And then once you have the insides in, then close up the front. And we're going to do the outside from the nose. Now this could be just about any type of animal. You could turn it into a pig, you could turn it into a frog. I'm going to turn it into a bird, like the one that I had earlier. So the first thing I want to do is I want to cut a beak. And I'm going to use some of my fun foam for that. And again, just like I did with the tail and the ears on there, I'm going to just cut part of it away. And stick it onto the front of my bird. We have a beak. Then I want to add some wings. Now, I said that there's another thing that you can use, double stick tape, so I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to take, again, a piece of a magazine page that has pictures on both sides, and we're going to fold it in half and cut out a couple of wings. So, to do that, I'm going to make them wing shape. I want to make them so that they're not too big for the bottle. And here we go. And since there's pictures on both sides, it doesn't matter which side you put up and down. But now I'm going to make them look like wings by cutting out a few little bits. Go on. Sorry, one of my cats has joined us. And then trim them to the size that you want. And I have 2 wings that I'm going to add to this with double stick tape. So what I will do is I'm going to put the double stick tape on the wing and then tape it on where I want it. And same for the other side. And our bird is done. Boop. I hope you enjoyed our craft today. If you did, make a few of your own. You can make your own whole menagerie. You can make a few, and you can go back and watch our Wide Mouth Frog puppet show again and play with your animals along with our puppets. Thank you, and thank you for joining us for both the craft and the puppet show.